Hello, welcome to workshop number 5. My name is Robert Miller, and these workshops are set up primarily for our clients who have purchased the self-guided program. They're to help aid and to add a layer of information and knowledge, but from the behind the undergirding principles, the thoughts, the methodologies. I created all of our self-guided programs, so these workshops are either I thought this is really relevant, or it was a question from a client, from the self-guided clients or from our one-on-one. Today's session is from an executive mindset coaching who is doing my instincts. He's been through my success already, and this person is now in my now. He has just begun at session 1. And we had a conversation today, and it struck. I thought, oh, that's a great topic for workshop. So that is how we got to this topic, discovery or defense mode. Which one do you carry into conversations, and what is your primary? The picture image on workshop number 5's cover is of Mushu, my son's adolescent bearded dragon. My 11-year-old had allergies. We can't have cats, we can't have dogs, so we got a bearded dragon. And now he's an adolescent, he's a teenager, he's over 6 months old. And Mushu, one of the wonderful things I discovered is when Mushu gets scared, threatened, he gets his scales change color. His skin changes color. And when he's excited, he gets really, really bright. And when he's nervous and scared, he gets really, really dark. And it's almost slate gray. It's extraordinary to watch him change color and really change color quickly with his mood and somatically how he feels in his environment. And what's really interesting about a bearded dragon is they are both predator and prey. So when he's on the hunt, in his habitat for his food, which is live, he's an apex predator who plays with his food. He puts up a claw and he moves it like this, and he rotates it around in the air, and then he pounces from the other side and chomps on, with his razor sharp teeth, a big roach that's the size of his head. But when I walk past and I'm too noisy or startle him, because I have a deep voice and I have a kind of large presence, he can get dark pretty quickly or upset pretty quickly when his environment changes and feels threatened, and he becomes prey. You may have already picked this up from some of the collision, the activation narratives, if you're doing self-guided or just reading the posts on LinkedIn and other places. I suffer from PTSD, and I spent almost 15 years in PTSD therapy, and I am blessedly out of therapy and have benefited deeply from therapy, but I have had long acquaintance with post-traumatic stress. That disordering, that stressing of the somatic from memories. The reason it's a disorder is I am experiencing physically now something that happened in the past. And so fight, flight, and everything that goes with that is activated physically in my body. All the stress hormones and everything else, cortisol, etc., 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 impacts my body, because my body is acting and reacting as if this traumatic event is happening again now. And so I went through a decade and a half of therapy to help regulate that, to help process all those traumatic memories, and there were quite a lot from my first half of life and till I was 24 actually, and I learned to regulate my somatic. And where my instincts came from isn't only surviving in the streets of Ireland until I was 24. And not only my ability to read well and to be a minister in really difficult and dangerous situations that were fraught, that had existential risk at times, and I learned for decades afterwards as a minister in difficult situations and dangerous situations how to be there and how to move through those safely, through those places, both for myself and for other people. I then had to learn how to be safe for myself. And trauma therapy is about capturing that and being attentive to what's happening in your body. And so my instincts came from a combination of all of that. One of the things I've noticed about human beings, we all tend to be like Mushu. We have moments of apex predator, play with the food, or prey. P-R-E-Y. Something's going to eat me, and I am in defense mode. I am distressed. I am afraid. I am worried about what's coming next, what might be out in the jungle. Let me give you this idea of discovery and defense that we carry within our bodies, and that if sometimes things happen in our life that we knock these out of skew and we have to go to therapy. But all of us, no matter how healthy, no matter how benign your past has been and your life has been, you carry both, like Mushu, like me, a defense and discovery mode. And why does it matter to you? Well, even the most stupid, careless, distracted person pays attention. There's something primitive all the way back in our reptilian brain that never really turns off. And so when people, while they aren't either aware or attentive to what's happening in the room, they have a signal they pick up that impacts their reactions and their level of distraction of the other. And so in my room, we talk about certainty and confidence distracting people, even though they're rarely relevant. If you're in discovery mode, you are an apex predator feeling when you walk into the room. Your primary sensations you embody are, where is my next meal coming from? You're not afraid, you're curious. You're not afraid, you're maybe aggressive. You're not afraid, you're on the hunt. Apex predator. Mushu, eating the roaches. Discovery mode is that apex predator on the hunt. Defense mode is the roach trying to escape from Mushu, or Mushu trying to hide from me when I bark a little too loudly near him, step too heavily. And suddenly he's in his rock hiding from me, prey. I don't want to become dinner to the big hairy Irishman. Funny thing, he's not afraid of my boy, ever. And my wife is so gentle and sends out that energy, he's rarely afraid of her. I've got a big beard and a deep voice, and he's afraid of me a lot. So I've seen him become prey. Maybe as I startled him while he's predator mode. You have both predator and prey, discovery and defense, so do I. You probably haven't had that collision effect of your somatic, your embodied sense of right now, getting out of skew because of trauma and becoming distressed by traumatic memory and reliving it physically in the now. So you haven't had the occasion to have to pay attention to what's happening. I've had that mixed blessing of having to pay attention. So I have within me a lot of experience in somatic attention. I don't want for you to have had my lived experiences. I promise you, PTSD therapy was incredibly dramatic and painful and problematic and challenging and frightening, almost as much as the actual trauma. And so I don't want you to experience that. I don't need you to experience that. You can learn from the collision of my dramatic and traumatic life and apply it, integrate it into your life. As you walk into rooms, whatever program you're doing, however you're interacting with this video, wherever you came from, I hope it's a collision. That you are both predator and prey. That you have a capacity to be on the hunt looking for your next meal, while also scurrying in the shadows hoping you are not going to become a meal. And you carry that into a room non-verbally. And this is why it matters. If you're not paying attention to what mode you're in, you may become distracted by everybody else's reaction to the predator mode you're sending into a room unintentionally. Or, why are you so afraid? You're fixated on becoming a meal. They were just there for a meeting. Let me say that again. Both discovery and defense mode is fixated on meal, when most of the people in the room may just be there for a meeting. Paying attention to what's happening within you and what you're embodying in a space physically, that other people, no matter how inattentive, how stupid they are in nonverbal reading, will pick up and wonder why you're sending out signals of meal, whether aggressively looking for one or fearfully avoiding one. They will wonder why you're fixated on meal, non-verbally, while they're having a meeting. When you're paying attention, you will realize you can verbalize. Hey, I feel a little nervous today. Sometimes you do. Or, man, I'm feeling really aggressive today. Man, I feel like something really good in this meeting something good is going to come out of this meeting. And then people will disregard the meal because they go, oh, the meeting's about the meal. So they'll set your fears at rest, or they'll say, wow, can we eat too? And they will be unafraid. They won't worry that you're going to eat them. Okay. You have, but within you, defense and discovery. Are you paying attention today to which one you're taking into the next meeting and what signal of meal you're really sending out? Thank you very much.